Oh shit, that's bright even with my eyes closed. Oh wow. Wow. This is incredible. Wow. I can't speak. Just wow. I've always tried to figure out why I do what I do and why I am the way I am. And I made stories up about all of that. And so I was able to go back and really go back to the beginning with a totally different perspective, especially after everything I've gained from the last few days. And I understand it all, and it was no one else's fault. There's just so much forgiveness, gratitude and love, and this word of like recognition just wouldn't stop coming up, whether that meant seeking attention in a negative way when I was younger, or inflicting pain on others to be seen in some form. And then it helped me understand just so much the pain that I've felt my whole life, I think. Trying to understand the root of it. And I think I mentioned on like day 2 I had this massive like oh shit moment where it was going back to childhood memories that we embed when we're a child without this perspective that we gain throughout life, and reliving those memories and really having this radical shift of like understanding, and so much forgiveness came with that. But it also led to seeing this pattern that I have throughout my life, and it started as this like toxic trait of seeking attention through being bad, through hurting myself, through hurting other people, and then it came to this space of like seeking attention. And I don't think it was ever self-hate. I think it was just trying to gain recognition, which then led into like adult life, which is exactly what I've been successful at, is creating a recognized brand of personality. But it's like this continuous theme that's happened throughout my life, and when you go back to the beginning, it's like not hating myself for it, but loving myself and loving every single experience that came up that created that trait within me. And I've just got like so many conversations to have, so much love and so much gratitude, and just an insane amount of forgiveness for my family, for myself. And this has just been the most incredible experience for me. I thought it would be horrifying, but it wasn't. It was so much peace and like pure joy. And I got way too good at living in there. I could have stayed, and I will be back. Like I could maybe too comfortable in there. I started like getting so stoked every time I'd reach for something and I didn't have to pat, it was just there. It was almost like I gained this magic skill that I could see in the dark. Even though I couldn't see, I knew where everything was. And I always have like shame for my OCD tendencies, and my shame turned into like this like incredible, I was like empowered by making sure everything is lined up, because all these things that I see as a weakness became my biggest strength in there. I never lost anything. I only hit my head once, which I'm really stoked about. But I can't even put it into words. This whole experience is profound, doesn't even get it. Like, I just, wow. This has been everything that I thought that I needed, and a lot more. That recognition thing for me just put all of these little stories that I was finding the truth behind all into like this one. It made so much sense. Everything makes so much sense. And there's no shame that I've felt, or like this. I remember having massive arguments with my parents of like, why am I the way I am? You know, like, why can't I just chill? Like, why do I have to continuously push and push and push and fill my life with chaos? And rather than having shame about those traits that definitely came from experiences in my life, it's more gratitude because I'm so grateful for those parts of myself, because I've created this incredible life with the man of my freaking dreams that I had already known I loved immensely, but like, I am so in love. It's crazy. And it's been 13 years. I think it's taken me this long to really see how in love I am. And also how much I am loved. You know? I often don't give myself the time to feel or acknowledge, in case I get like too full of myself, or if I feel the recognition that I've been desperately creating, if I feel that I might get too ahead of myself or something, so I don't stop and acknowledge enough. And inside of there, it just gave me this like felt everything, and I'm so proud. And I don't say that, and I used to think saying things like that were like big-headed or full of myself, but I am so proud of the person I am and the life I've created. No, it was like this safe space where all expectations or responsibilities are stripped away and you can just be. It took me a little while to get there. Maybe, I think halfway through the second day, I really felt like I could just be. So I would describe it as a safe space. Before I came here, I had such pride in being a practitioner. And I think through like the physical side of things more than not. And I mentioned to you on day one about my tattoo that says Amor Fati and love of fate, and the idea that there is no such thing as good or bad, but just what is and how one decides to perceive it. And so I know that, and I feel that, and I believe that so strongly, but only about my adult life. So I went back and like had a radical shift and a lot of forgiveness for family members that I don't think that I had that on my mind coming in here. But for us to, which I want to share a lot of, for us to go back to a memory that we create as a child that feels so real, and it's our truth, right? It creates our truth, and it creates this idea of what was, but to question and challenge it with a higher perspective, to really see what is or what was back then, but rather than how we felt. And so that one thing right there of like going back to past memories and having this shift in perspective and reliving them and recreating a new memory, it like brings your shoulders from your ears to your down like 10 inches, like, wow, maybe it wasn't the way I thought it was. And I've been living 31 years thinking that it was. And there's no communication needed with the other person on the other side of that story, right? But the forgiveness is the biggest takeaway for me, I think.